short track characteristics.
You don't know what the track's going to do. You don't know what adjustments you're going to make to your car.
If I'm a young guy in this race, right now all I'm thinking about is go, go, go.
Time for our fourth race of the year in the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Phoenix Raceway. Our pole sitter, Kyle Busch, he's won here on 11 different occasions. And starting right behind him today is the guy that went to victory lane last weekend, his rookie teammate Harrison Burton. You talk about rolling up your sleeves and going to work. It's one of the toughest tracks. He had never been there. He gets by Chase Briscoe, and they were coming after him in the closing laps. But he did exactly what he needed to do, and he gets the win. Let's go from the driver's seat with a guy starting third here today, Harrison Burton.
Let's get him, guys. Hey, Harrison Burton, boy, up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. I got you loud and clear.
Man, kid, huge win for you, your family, your mom. Boy, we all saw your mom celebrating. It was so neat to see your dad in victory lane down there. I know what it means to you and your family. Riding the old momentum train here, qualified third right in the middle of these Cup guys. Can you get it done again?
Well, I believe so. I've got a great team behind me. We've got a fast Xfinity Supra. We battled some adversity earlier in practice, kind of had a bad second practice, but got her better for today, I think. So I think we're going to have a chance to put it on them and hopefully do it again.
All right, buddy, we'll be watching. Pay attention to this traction compound. You better be ready for it.
Oh, we're ready.
Good luck.
I think I just follow the guy in front of him. He's
right.
pretty good here, right?
And I guarantee you his crew chief probably told him the same thing. Just follow that cat right in front of you.
Well, 11 wins for Kyle Busch here. Oh, my goodness.
And he won here a year ago, and you know who helped develop the setup for that race? Harrison Burton. And he's got the crew chief, Ben Bayshore, that was on the box for Kyle when he got that race a season ago. So all of that points toward both those guys should be really good in today's race.
Oh, absolutely. I tell you a little tidbit. This Twix, this cookies and cream, that's on his car, boy, that was in the media center. I walked out. They handed me one. I was like, oh, man, baby, I'm going to try this thing. I make it 10 feet out the door, found a little 7-year-old kid, and he stole it from me right off the bat. Everybody's got to try it.
Just what you need is more sugar. Let's hear from our pit reporters. We start things off with Jamie Little. Hello, Jamie.
Hello, Adam. Well, Noah Gragson kicked off the season winning the biggest race at Daytona, but the last 2 weeks, they've been a bit of a struggle for Noah. I just talked to him, and he told me he's been overly aggressive, and he's learned from his mistakes starting today. But one thing that hasn't made mistakes is his Cup pit crew. It's William Byron's crew. They've been with them the first 3 races. They'll be with them today as well. Keep your eye on that 9. They've got good speed. Vince?
Well, Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski may be the headliners, the former Cup champs coming down to run the Xfinity race today. But if someone else is going to win this race, don't be surprised if it's the 7 of Justin Allgaier. He's a 2-time winner here at Phoenix. In fact, the last time the series was here back in November, he was the one standing in victory lane at the end of the day. And they've liked their car in practice. Good on the short run, good on the long run. We'll see if they can keep up with this ever-changing track and be there at the end with a shot to get win number 3 in Phoenix.
Vince and Jamie talking about junior motorsports drivers. JRM has won 3 of the last 6 here, 2 for Allgaier. William Byron won here this season that he was able to claim the series championship. Now we go as we see it. The keys to the race for you two, Clint, lead us off.
Yeah, I think the number one key for me, leaving this track, who's going to leave here confident, who's going to leave here worried? Because when we come back, it's going to be for all the marbles for the championship on the line. The traction compound has been moved down this year. I think it'll have a pivotal role in this race today, as well as our race tomorrow on Sunday. And then the last one, man, this Gordon, he has this barn party over here. I went over and checked it out. Looks pretty cool, but can he really host the big party on Sunday? Time will tell.
Well, I think what you have is you have Brad and Kyle, all the experience versus the youth of the field. A lot of drivers that haven't been here, but we talk about, I call it the awesome sauce, the track fight, the traction compound, whatever you want to call it. How quick are we going to get into this? What's it going to do to the speeds of the cars, the tire wear, all that above, and then restarts. Oh my goodness, restarts here with this dog leg that you see right after the start-finish line. Cars go diving down to the bottom all the way into turn 1. There's going to be so much room for 3, even 4 wide on these restarts, and they got to figure it all out by the time they get to turn 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about these restarts. I think that traction compound, moving it down a little bit, will help that outside line. As he said, it really spreads out. You get off in there, it's a bad angle for the spotters. They can't really tell, are you inside, you outside? They can't quite clear. You getting off in there from their vantage point, and then all of a sudden you get slid. All right, you're 2 wide, you're 3 wide, you're 2 on the inside. You don't want to be 3 wide, 4 wide on the outside. But today, that just might be okay with this traction compound on the outside.
The other element, the level of aggression. I mean, you saw it there in our race analysis. Stage lengths, only 45 laps in stage 1 and stage 2, 200 laps overall. Not a lot of time to get your work done.
Short race, you better go. And that's what it is. Just in any series these days, you got to go from the get-go. But we also talked about earlier about saving your tires for a longer run. You only have 45 laps in the stage, but that is still a long time to where you can really burn up your tires pretty quickly.
Yeah, tire management's this thing, the game. When you talk about a short track like this, it has to continue to roll the center of the corner. So how do you do that? Keep freeing me up, keep freeing me up. Oh, now I'm too loose in, I'm too loose off. I can't put the throttle down. These are all things that are very important for the balance of the car. Let's get after it, boys.
Kyle Busch on the pole, takes the inside lane, and here we go from the desert.
And that's an interesting move right off the bat. I see Kyle Busch taking the bottom. I thought he might take the top. Austin Cindric's up top. We'll see what he can do with it.
You can see Austin using the traction compound already. Gets a big run off of turn 2 right there and to the lead. So just like you said, Joey, maybe that wasn't the best of choices.
But see, that's something the whole field saw, right? And then it's going to be something that's going to change throughout the race.
Brad Keselowski in the 12 car this weekend. A pair of Phoenix victories for him. He, too, is working that outside lane.
It really surprises me how fast that traction compound came in. Yesterday it was no man's land on Friday's practice session. Nobody really got up there. My teammate Kevin Harvick went up there and rocketed to the top of the board running that thing. So I think as today progresses, we're all going to be looking at it for tomorrow, right? And it'll be interesting to see if they put more down for tomorrow's race.
And Clint, you and I were talking about how long is it going to take for them to get into it. How about lap 1?
Yeah. We said 10.
Yeah.
We didn't make it. Turn 1, first corner, right to the lead.
21, Myatt Snyder this week, driving around the outside of Joe Graff Jr. The 11 is Justin Haley. The 18, Riley Herbst, who's coming off his career best. This the onboard camera sponsored by Leaf Filter.
Saw a battle right here. Justin Allgaier's kind of found this outside line right here in 3 and 4. That's something that nobody's been able to pull off yet. Trying to, find real estate where that guy isn't. That's the best place to pass them. Go where they're not.
Let's look at the 12 here. The 12 just got pretty loose a minute ago. Here's he trying to work the bottom. The 20 is covering the bottom. Brad gets a little nudge to him. That's part of it. And look as they go into turn 3 here.
Whoa, a lot of help there.
Whoa, and it's not over yet. Here's one more moment from the 12 as he slid up. So just a lot of contact moving back and forth. There's not a lot of grip out there.
You see a big crossover right there. Justin Allgaier went from the outside to the inside. Now Harrison's got the outside line into the traction compound. I think he's probably going to be smart and let him go right there. That's a good, say that, maybe not.
This is baptism by fire for the 20 of Harrison Burton, who kissed the wall and now is going to fall outside the top 5. Allgaier is buying the 7, and here comes Brad Keselowski.
Such a hard thing to manage there. You don't want to give up track position because every position you lose is less and less downforce on your race car, less grip. But being smart in front of these runs, knowing who you're around, knowing that those guys are aggressive, have a lot of experience on this racetrack, just settle in here, find your groove, get a good balance on your car. You can see that 12 car really, really loose. I look for him to be good on a long run.
Yeah, we talk about saving tires. How are you supposed to do that when you're back in this mess? You're trying to pass cars, you're in dirty air. How do you do that and still manage where you're at? That's the challenging part about driving these stock cars around here.
Adam, this is an extremely challenging racetrack. Since the repave, the reconstruction on the back straightaway, that adds an element to the restarts, but just the grip level alone, and then the tire, the Goodyear tire that we have, it just feels like it's really, really stuck, and then it completely shears. You see a huge run, Kyle Busch driving in very, very deep, getting into the corner. You see, that's the other thing when you talk about managing your tires and long runs. That 22 car really had a lot of grip on the start. That always is kind of a telltale sign. He might go out there and run for a little bit, but he can't hide for sure. Kyle Busch has got a good long run set up underneath of him.
And you see Kyle up in the awesome sauce up there, getting the speed. Man, that is big. And right here, Kyle's got to make a decision. Do I go to the bottom or do I try to keep working the top? It's going to be hard to complete the pass on the bottom. As you can see right there, trying to get that run off of turn 4 is tough. So he may try the outside lane as he catches him again because it's pretty apparent that Kyle is quite a bit quicker than the 22 at this moment.
What's the latest on the 12 car, Vince? Right now, Brad Keselowski running 5th.
Well, running fifth, and also a spotter keeping a close eye on what Kyle Busch is doing and relaying that to Brad Keselowski, letting him know where Kyle is running, where Kyle is using the traction compound, and where he's making up the speed. And that's good information for Brad Keselowski as he tries to make his way up inside the top 5.
You mentioned his spotter. It's Coleman Presley. That's his normal Cup spotter. He's used to working with Austin Cindric, who's leading the race. With Brad here, Josh Williams calling the shots for that 22. He's out front right now, and he's led them all from Phoenix.
We try to stay right behind all the big teams, you know, the RCRs.
Leader here in Phoenix. His name is Kyle Busch. Got around Austin Cindric 9 laps in. And the 54 has led now the last 6 circuits here at the Desert Mile. Kyle Busch out front. Cindric is second. Ross Chastain, Justin Allgaier, and Brad Keselowski complete the top 5. You know, last weekend, Josh Williams had an unbelievable run. Top 10 at California, the second of his career. Let's track Josh Williams today.
All the big teams, you know, the RCRs, the Gibbs guys, the Penske guys, the Haas guys. If we can line up right behind those guys, I mean, that's a win for us. I call it winning our class. So if we can finish right behind the big teams, that's a solid day for us. We're at the top of our class.
Williams 20th right now, leading a 3-car effort for Mario Gosselin, who's got a trio of vehicles in this race today. You talk about overachieving. They do it on a regular basis. And look who he's racing with on track here, RCR and Junior Motorsports.
Yeah, great story. Love hearing that. Mario Gosselin, man, when I came into the sport, he was racing in the Arcus Series and got an opportunity to race against him long time. I think it was like 2004. So it's neat to see guys that have grinded it out and still, you know, alive and well and having, you know, good cars, good runs. You see nothing on the quarter panels of that race car. If they keep having runs like they did last weekend, that won't be the case for long.
You know, this is the race I've been watching just a minute ago there with the 12 and the 1 of Justin Allgaier. Or, sorry, not the 1. As I look at the 1 here, changing my mind. This is going to be tight. It's just there's not much real estate out there, and the top lane has been so strong, and the cars get on the bottom, and they just can't complete the passes. It seems like it's so hard to get that drive off the bottom.
You know, the other thing, the old days when you first came in, and I remember coming around here, you just let that guy go, right? Because he's going to go up there and burn the tires off, and he'll be coming back here in 5 laps, and before you know it, you'll probably be lapping him by the end of the tire run. That's not the case anymore, Adam. You have to stay on these things. You have to stay aggressive, and you got to fend for that position because every little bit counts, especially when you re-rack them when a caution comes out.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. These two have been racing. We were watching them during the commercial break. Back and forth, back and forth. Brad can get underneath the 7 of Justin Allgaier and just cannot complete the pass. But what I do like seeing is that the leader's not really driving away. You know, they're all right there in front of them. This is going to be a close race to the end.
Top 5 cars separated by 2 seconds. So when you think about that and you see the way these two have been racing and the fact that Kyle has not pulled away any more than he has, I'm with you, Joey. I think it infuses a lot of life into this race. And speaking of the leader, dealing with some lap traffic right now is Kyle Busch. Jamie?
Yes, he is. All 4 Gibbs cars in the top 12 right now. And Kyle Busch has not been in this series, Adam, since Indy last year. But he picked up right where he left off on the pole here for the 10th time. He's telling his team now just lacking some grip, saying it's edgy. And it's just hard to get going. Even though he is leading, he's not getting a run on his competition like he expected to as he works that traffic.
His crew chief is Jacob Cantor, who does a lot of the testing for Toyota and Gibbs. So they've worked together, even though Cantor is not full-time on the pit box. But this lap traffic making a difference, and Cindric is starting to get aggressive from that number 2 position.
I think the other thing you see there is just his comments. You know, he said his car's edgy. As he catches that lap traffic and gets in dirty air, it gets more edgy. I think you saw from the start of it, the 22 car wasn't quite that much. It took, you know, he had good grip right off the bat. And as they get into lap traffic, the 22s run right back up on his bumper.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that. As quick as Kyle Busch caught Austin Cindric, I thought, oh boy, he's gone. But not the case. The 22's been able to hang with him. And not to mention Ross Chastain back here, up in the awesome sauce, doing his thing. Running these guys down in the traffic, the lap traffic that they're working through here.
But that was a really good shot right there. You could see the 22 had to pass the car on the inside. Ross Chastain was able to take advantage of that because he could see it, set him up on that outside, and got a huge run off of turn 4.
This is youth versus experience. You got Riley Herbst, who's a rookie, driving that 18 car, fresh off a runner-up finish, his career best last weekend in California, in front of Daniel Hemrick, driving the part-time effort for Junior Motorsports in that 8 car. Where are they at with their program right now, Vince?
Well, handling a loose race car right now, that's been the issue for Daniel. It just doesn't feel like he has much security in it. And, you know, he told us earlier, just before the race today, that making that transition back to the Xfinity Series after a year in Cup and getting used to this car again after, as you indicated, on a part-time schedule, it's been a challenge for Hemrick. But hanging tough right now. It's early in the race. They'll get it tightened up, and we'll see how he progresses.
Mentioned he's part-time, sharing the ride with Jeb Burton and also Dale Jr., who will run that 8 car in a couple of weeks' time when we go down to the Homestead Miami Speedway. On board here with Ross Chastain. This is our Nutrien Ag Solutions onboard Camry. He's got a fast race car.
Yeah, he does. He's really caught these guys, especially using that outside line and lap traffic. As I watch this race progress, that's what I feel like is going to be the difference. Lap traffic. You see, pulled the old slide job there. All clear. But you can see that 22 car. Look at him working the throttle and slip and slide up off the corner.
And look at the run he got because of that. How high he was up in that grip. He was just motoring off of turn 2 and made a ton of time on Kyle Busch ahead of him. It'd be interesting to see if he does it again right here.
I was watching that car. That's a great shot right there. You can see that 22 car, how much it's yawed out, holding on to that thing pretty free in the middle of the corner.
Harrison Burton 6th, make it 7th. Noah Gragson goes by, and you know the 9 car needed a rebound after last week in California. He's getting it. NASCAR actually called him in, talked to him in the hauler about aggressive driving. We all remember what happened at the end of the race in Las Vegas when he got into Myatt Snyder. I think they've gotten his attention, and he's running well. And Dave Ellen's a great leader for him on the pit box. Meanwhile, left of your screen, Austin Cindric right in the hip pocket of Kyle Busch.
Really like that. You know, this kid's, just continues to be more and more impressive. Joey, you know that as a teammate of his. He's obviously phenomenal on the road courses, but hanging tough against some of the best right here in Kyle Busch on a track like this, pretty impressive.
You can tell his experience level and his maturity has just gained so much. I would say he's most improved throughout these Xfinity Series drivers right now. Being able to really just, understand what it takes. He puts a lot of work into this. Brian Wilson is crew chief. They spend a lot of time together studying film, and you see the result of that here on the racetrack.
But they're throwing everything at him. You saw Kyle Busch right there, completely on the apron, which is way cool.
Whoa! That's the bumper.
Well, this is a short track, right?
That freed him right up. I tell you what, Ross Chastain is the most aggressive driver on the racetrack.
And we
pretty early to be that aggressive.
Well, we see what momentum means, right? I mean, he's running second, gets popped in the tail, 10 goes by, so does 7, and here comes his teammate.
Well, the other thing is this 7 and the 12 car just watched him do that. So if they get to his bumper, they won't hesitate a bit to help him right on out, will they, Joey?
And if you're willing to put the bumper to someone, you got to be willing to take it every now and again. It goes back and forth.
I was just going to say, Cindric has really matured a lot over the years. We may find out just how mature he is right now, because he's got to be a bit hot under the collar. And now our first caution of the day, that's the 07 of Ray Black Jr., who went around into the wall. Unfortunate, because he had a top 15 run here a season ago.
Look like it's a whole lot of damage, but this was something that I was looking, I was hoping that wouldn't happen, but unfortunately you have to keep tiptoeing up a little bit more into that traction compound. It'd be really interesting to see the replay here to see what happened for sure, but I was worried about that from the get-go.
Well, what happens with this traction compound, I believe, is that all the dust and the rubber and everything that flies off the car used to go all the way to the wall. Well, now it gets stuck to the racetrack. This traction compound is so sticky that where the tires aren't going over it, it's just really dirty. If you get a little too high, it's ice.
It's a tough break for Ray, because he was scored in the 22nd position on the lead lap after he had started at the rear because of unapproved adjustments post-qualifying. So he was making up some ground driving the 07 for SS Greenlight Racing and Bobby Dotter. We anticipate the leaders might stay out here, but we got a report that Brad Keselowski is going to give up his track position and come down pit road, get some fresh tires and fuel here.
Well, this is a strategy play here. You can make it all the way to the second stage by pitting here. Obviously this 12 car does not run for points, so it's all or nothing. You might as well go for it. What do you got to lose? It's the advantage you have over the field if you are not running for points. You don't care about stage points, and you try to cycle yourself to the front and see what a little bit older tires are worth.
And psychologically, you would say the best way to beat that 54 today, get out of balance on strategy. We'll see how good Brad is on those new tires when we return. About ready for a restart as we close on the end of stage one, and it might be interesting because we just saw this. For second, Ross Chastain once, twice, little shove there. Austin Cindric out of the way, and Chastain is now in the runner-up position. Cindric stays in third. Are these two okay? Because Chastain gives the wave here. I'm guessing not.
What does this mean, Joey? What is he? So
he's saying, I'm sorry, please don't wreck me back. Is what he's saying.
That's what I love. Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear this radio.
All good. I'll take care of it in a minute. He may come visit
Which
you, but
time?
I'm going to go tell those guys now.
Talk is cheap.
Ross did say sorry.
Hey, Kyle Busch, the control car, unlike the start of the race, he takes the outside lane.
Didn't make that mistake twice, did he, Joey?
No, but look at how stacked the top is. Everyone just fighting for the top, trying to get the momentum right here.
Ooh, Gragson, did you see him coming off the corner? That back end was hung out 9 to go on the stage.
That's easy to do off that corner. You come off there and the thing starts picking up a push. You tighter and tighter. You got more and more wheel in it, and all of a sudden it'll grab and really snap on the exit like that.
And these moments are just so intense. You got just under a handful or two handfuls of laps to go to the end of the stage. Everyone's just going to push so hard trying to get every point they possibly can.
Look at Allgaier. He's up to second now and trying to run down Kyle Busch. Now keep this in mind. We said Brad Keselowski pitted. He's not running for points. Neither is the 54 of Kyle Busch. Therefore, this is huge for Allgaier to try and get by and win this stage.
And this is big, too. Look where he's at in the points. He came into this race, so I think 10th in points or something around there. He needed a big day. I look for this track to be a big day for Allgaier. If he can beat some of the best in Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, some of the Cup boys that are in this race, that is huge for him.
And he got a great run off of turn 2. It's such a hard place to get a run like that on Kyle Busch, and he's able to. Look at him hanging down there. That's pretty good to be able to do that and gets a good side draft here. Now you wonder, does the slide job coming? What's going to happen right here?
Great racing, guys. I love this. Got him on the inside, down on the apron, using it a little bit to get turned. Kyle slid up big time. Now you got him 3 wide. Look at this, boys.
Chastain, all the way out in the traction compound, drives to the inside of Kyle Busch for position. And don't look now, the 98 of Chase Briscoe has entered the party. And welcome back Austin Cindric, 3 wide. Are you kidding me?
Chase had a huge restart, passed a lot of cars, made up a lot of ground, made some good moves, and now he's third.
It's just so tough to make that final work. And what we saw was Kyle Busch got extra high in that awesome sauce. And it wasn't so awesome when you get it to where it's dirty and not cleaned off yet. So later in the race, that may work because you can see these drivers getting higher and higher in it, cleaning it off more and more.
The other thing that happens, Adam, on this on a cycle like that, under caution, is the tires do cycle. And when they do that, sometimes you'll pick up even if it was a little bit tight, it's going to be even more tight when you take off and refire. So I think you see some of that as well. Kyle Busch is definitely in bad trouble.
Hey, we saw a shot of Brad there. He's back up to 12th on those tires, now 11th. He restarted 22nd. My only question is, you're not running for points. Why don't you lay back, save those tires, because you're going to have the track position when we restart in stage 2. You follow me? What am I missing?
Yeah, absolutely, but you feel like Superman. I mean, everybody's on old tires. You got them feel-goods on, man. That thing takes off. You're like, watch this. But, hey, he can get up there and get in position. I mean, if you follow him, now 3 wide, I don't know about that, but if you do follow him, you're just in dirty air and you're going to, scrub more and more off your tires. So getting up there, getting in clean air does make a little bit of sense.
Yeah, I can kind of see both sides of that, and maybe he is taking care of it, and that's what tires are worth. Goodyear brought a new tire here, a softer compound. We've seen in practice already there's more fall off in the tire, so maybe he is just cruising and his tires are that much better.
And I know I sound like a genius challenging a Cup champion on his approach to the race. And by the way, we're coming to 1 to go in the stage. We closed pit road the last time by, and Allgaier trying to win a stage for the 3rd time this year. 1 mile remaining in this first stanza of the race.
Very impressive. Answered the call. We all knew this was a go-to track for him, and he is proving that for sure.
I mean, when he won here last fall, it's always great, but you didn't have Cup champions in the field. He wins today with both Kyle and Brad here. it makes an enormous statement. This team needed a good run, and they're off to a good start. Stage 1 to the 7 of Justin Allgaier. It's the 4th time he's won a stage at Phoenix. Second place, Ross Chastain. Good drive for him. Same for Briscoe. And Kyle Busch was 4th there at the end of stage 1. Here's what he said.
I got no front tires, man. They're terrible. Nothing. It's rigid. Feel.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a lot of emotion that comes there, so you can see it.
What'd you say about getting saucy? I mean, I thought you were talking about the track. Turns out that plays for Kyle, too. The heavyweights are back on Fox. Adam Babyface Kovnatsky puts his undefeated record on the line against the Nordic Nightmare Robert Helenies. The Battle of Brooklyn begins tonight, 8 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. I just feel like when you do a boxing promo, you have to change your voice a little bit. What do you think?
I think you need to sound a little tougher if you can. But how do you, Babyface as a boxer? How does that work?
How about the Nordic Nightmare?
Well, here we go. Pit road's open. You're going to see all of them come, and I believe you're going to see Brad Keselowski in the 12 staying out.
Big pit stops here, Vince.
Well, they certainly want to avoid a nightmare on these stops. Ross Chastain, the first to get into the box in that 10 car, just too tight throughout the course of the run, so they got to free that up with air pressure. The bright red 7 of Justin Allgaier, the leader, got tighter in the center. He said, I need it freed up in the center, but I also need more drive off, so don't hurt my exit. Jamie?
They had to remind Kyle Busch to look for the 54 sign. He has Eric Jones' Cup crew going over the wall for him. You heard him say those front tires went away. Needs more grip. He's happy to get 4 fresh tires. Meanwhile, Chase Briscoe on the left side in the 98, air pressure adjustment for him. They're happy with the car. They feel like they have a good long run car here, guys.
And the race off pit road, a good one. That's Kyle Busch in the 54. Good service for him. Same for the 22 of Austin Cindric, and they're a handful of spots behind Justin Allgaier. The top three hold serve. Gregson for the second consecutive week gaining positions, and look at Harrison Burton +3. We all know how difficult it is to pass at this place. If you can get the job done on pit road, it means so much, and Allgaier was able to do it after winning the stage.
Man, let's get him on here. Hey, Justin Allgaier, sport up in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, buddy, go ahead.
Man, looking pretty. Huh? Answered that call. Needed a big race. You're showing up. Stage win already. Drove around. A Cup champion. You think you can get it done?
It's going to be tough. You know, obviously Brad and Kyle are champions for a reason. They're both really good. Kyle I'm assuming he made a mistake right there, which is very unlike Kyle, but our brand professional agriculture Camaro's been really good. Track position's so important, especially with this PJ1. You know, we're just trying to find that lane that works perfectly for our Camaro right now. You know, it's going to be a fight to the end. There's a lot of really fast race cars. I think whoever has the advantage of, you know, clean air and managing the traffic the best is going to be the one that's going to take this thing home. So I'm excited about it. Like I said, it's always good to have a good car.
Hey, it's Joey up here in the booth, Justin. I was just wondering, you know, it seems like everyone's pushing it higher and higher into the traction compound. Is there an edge of going too far? Like, can you see a bunch of dirt or something above it to where you get too high and it just takes off? It looks like that's what happened to Kyle Busch while he was on the outside of you.
Yeah, it's really weird, Joey. There's certain times that you feel like you're really stuck to the earth, and you drive in the next time and you feel like you're in the same spot, and it just kind of takes off on you. So, you know, I think the cars that are good up there, they're kind of living and dying by the PJ1. I think as the race goes on and that gets higher and higher, it will be interesting to see if, you know, the guys are still making really good speed up there. Our car has been pretty neutral in both, but there's definitely a fine line of where it's good and where it's too much, and I would say that that's probably what bit Kyle earlier.
10-4, good info. Thank you very much. Good luck out there. Keep doing your thing.
He wins the stage, but he's going to restart third because Keselowski and Brown stayed out. The restart when we come back. About ready for stage 2. Let's go on this date. March 7th. In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell patents the telephone. Oh my, how times have changed.
Yeah.
1938, Janet Guthrie was born in Iowa. In 87, Mike Tyson wins as a rookie, right? That was unbelievable. At age 20, I should say. In 2004, Kyle Busch makes his Cup debut. I'd like the side-by-side of the photos then and now. He looked a little bit different, you know?
Hey, I think we're all looking a little different these days.
So young. I mean, we said babyface earlier for the body. Let's go to our Ford Performance track facts. And these are the Ford wins at Phoenix. Carl Edwards leads the way. Remember how successful Greg Biffle was en route to a championship. 2 for Brad. Jeff Burton getting it done for Jack Roush. And here's Brad Keselowski, who will restart as the leader.
How did that first set of tires look that came off, Matt?
Look good. Red front's got the most wear, but looks good. And this will be a short stage here, so you can use them up in this one.
Will do.
And you definitely have a shorter stage. And this is a strategy call that the 12 team made. You know, that they made their bet and said, hey, we're going to have 8 laps older tires than everyone that we're competing against. 8 green flag laps, to make that clear. And we're going to have clean air. So he's going to start up front. He's most likely going to secure the lead against the 68 car that's starting second. You know, and then he's just got to try to maintain that clean air as long as possible to manage his tires. And, you know, I mean, this isn't a very long stage at all. So if he can hang in there, he might look like a genius at the end of this one.
The other thing you heard there is, you know, the tire wear, right front. That's to be expected on the first run, first stage like that, first cycle on tires. As the track rubber's on, you know, rubber's in, that'll go away a little bit. So I saw him as a pretty free car. It'll be interesting how it holds on when the Bears are coming.
Allgaier stays out so he doesn't get lane selection, or Allgaier rather comes off with the race lead, but doesn't get the top spot on the restart because those guys stayed out, and starting down that inside lane going to be tough on him.
Brown really
and
holding
look at Brown, wow. And then Boyer, you're sitting next to me. Brad getting into the PJ1 really too high. You see almost 4 wide.
Hey, Brown's holding him off, man. He's got his elbows up. Now he's,
look at him go.
Hey, we know Chastain's not afraid to give
Chastain.
a bump.
He doesn't try to pass people. He just lays the bumper to him.
Allgaier inside to outside takes over the top spot. Maybe not. Chastain digging downstairs.
Still there, door. Still out there. Still out there. Quick hole behind him if we need it. 1 back 9. Quick hole. All clear. All clear. 1 back 9.
You can really see having those cars up there on old tires, how that shook that restart up. That Brown, man, he had his elbows up. He was finning his position, and it really threw everybody for a loop, and they were fanned out everywhere.
Hey, 3 of the top 4 restarted in that outside lane. Am I reading too much into that, or is that just going to continually be the theme?
That's going to be the theme. You're 100% right, and it's only going to grow more and more that way. And the part that I think is interesting already is Brad Keselowski back to 6th. He was not able to secure the clean air. And that was going to be his advantage. Now he has a disadvantage with older tires, and he's in 30 air. He's going to have his hands full for the rest of the stage.
And you nailed it, Adam. One of the things, you know, looking forward to, obviously, we
went blowing up, it looked like.
Couldn't tell if he was blowing up or just
looks like the tailpipes. I think it is blowing up.
Oh, and that's unfortunate. Jeremy Clements, top 10 last weekend at California. A lot of bad luck in the first 2 races of the year. Got the bounce back 7 days ago, but unfortunately back on the brink as he comes to pit road, likely done for the day unless they can button that thing up. And here comes Kyle Busch.
I tell you, they are up in that grippy stuff.
Entering on it now, all 4 wheels up in it. You know, before they were just kind of tiptoeing on there, just the right sides only. Now you're seeing them entering on it with all 4. That's but you think they'll put that back on for tomorrow? You think they'll reapply? What do you think?
I don't know. I think they'll probably wait and see how this race goes because, you were out there in practice with me, Clint. You know, we were just barely touching, and if you got a little bit too high, a little too early, we saw a lot of cars sliding up and hitting the wall in practice. But as clean as it is right now and all these cars running up there, it's really wearing in nice.
I just like your question to Justin about the line of demarcation, right? I mean, you can go up there, but how far is too far? And we're on board once again here with Ross Chastain. Got a really good race car, and right now appears to be somewhat patient with that 7 who's out front.
Give it a minute. And see, Justin goes to the bottom. So immediately Ross is going to go to the top and try to roll momentum off this corner.
But I think that's the difference, too, in the lines. You can see he really gapped him getting in, and all of a sudden you get that big run, that big drive off of that traction compound. Crossed him over. Now he's on the inside. Allgaier's back in the catbird seat. Definitely a game of cat and mouse as you're playing that. You got to be careful not to cross him over too much at the wrong time, because now look what happens. Kyle Busch is right on your bumper.
You know, and you know they're going to make good adjustments to that 54 car of Kyle Busch. They always do. If he's a little off early in the race, you know they're going to make adjustments to make that thing quicker. But this was also the point of the run last time where he was able to catch Austin Cindric and pass him. But then right after that, it looked like he lost his front tires. So it's hard to make him last longer once the race starts. Maybe some air pressure, maybe some balance changes to try to help that. But you can't change too much between these pit stops.
You know, one of the things that I've noticed on Allgaier's car, as you come across this, on the back straightaway when you dip off the racetrack, on the apron there, the car really bottoms out hard. And what happens, that right skirt, your skirt's on the bottom of the car, it's very, very important to make sure that thing doesn't fold in. If you look at the old 7-ball, she's folded out really, really good, way out there. Pretty good advantage if when you're thinking competition and stuff like that. That's a competitor in me, just always watching. We see that on cautions and things like that, in your debrief meetings on Monday morning and stuff like that. Those are things that everybody's talking about. What you see, what did you see on the racetrack, what did the crew chiefs see, the engineers, everything else. If we could get a picture of that, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Kyle Busch up to second, Jamie.
Yeah, and I talked to him after qualifying when he got the pole at him, and he joked. He's like, I don't know, but somehow I got Tony Stewart's retirement team working on this team this weekend. But they've done a really nice job. It's the A team. The guys going over the wall I mentioned earlier, that's the 20 Cup guys. But Kyle Busch giving great feedback to his crew chief, Jacob Cantor. He likes the car right now, but they did make a wedge and an air pressure adjustment to help him out here.
Hey, and you mentioned Tony Stewart, Jamie. He's making a comeback. The Hall of Famer going to be running the Xfinity race on the road course at Indianapolis, and he'll be in the booth with us at Talladega, Clint. I have circled that date on my calendar.
It's going to be a lot of fun to have him up in the booth, have his perspective, man. He's a character. There's no question. But be able to see him back in an Xfinity car at his home track in Indy, it's pretty special.
Well, I just heard something right there from Chase Briscoe. I was listening to his motor. He's shifting down here in turns 3 and 4, trying to get that run off the bottom.
And we're only probably 12, 13 laps in to this green flag run. Is that something you do throughout, or do you start to do as the tires go away?
I think it's something you do as needed. If you're in dirty air and you're really slowing down, that might be the time to do it. Those seem like the moments. You don't want to do it the whole time. It generates a lot of heat to the motor. It's a lot more stressful on the motor as well.
Hey, Justin Allgaier, knock, knock, you have company.
Yeah.
Kyle Busch is circled back to the front.
Shocker, right?
And I like watching this. This is 2 different lines. This is what the awesome sauce is all about. It's supposed to be able to make it where you can have 2 different lanes and be able to find clean air and make passes. And you see it's very dominant down here in turns 1 and 2, but 3 and 4 it seems very equal, where cars can run the bottom or the top and make about the same amount of lap time.
Hey, Vince.
It's interesting, Joey, as you're talking about that, they just came on and told Allgaier that Kyle's running the same exact line you are, but he's just turning in a little bit later than you. What will he be trying to accomplish by getting that turn in a little bit later?
Well, I think he's doing that, trying to get established on his turn off to be able to turn underneath of him, keep that headlight on. You got to have some air on your front end. The one thing that I have seen is he's quite a bit freer up off the corner on the throttle than the 7. On a long run, as the tires wear out, that is going to prevail.
Man, this is like the moment, man, if I can just get to the outside of him, I can clear him, It's easier to get to the inside of someone, but it's so hard to be able to clear from the bottom without that momentum.
And Justin knows that.
Look at Austin Cindric, who led those laps early.
Ooh.
Got back in the pack after that cycle of stops and into the wall there.
Just a kiss.
Especially with this body, this composite body that they run in the Xfinity Series, that's nothing. Keep digging.
So here's another shot at it. Kyle Busch down in the bottom, trying to get another shot at Justin Allgaier. Trying to get the momentum, can't quite do it. He's got traffic coming up. That might be your opportunity a lot of times.
Oh, absolutely. You got to, capitalize on track position. And when he catches that lap car, loses the front end, you got to be able to, anticipate that and find the way around him.
If there is a change for the top spot, you won't miss it. We're going side by side on FS1. Allgaier, Kyle Busch, 1-2 at Phoenix. You saw it as we were side by side. Kyle Busch has reclaimed the top spot here in Phoenix, going by Justin Allgaier. And, you know, we were kind of joking during the break. Is Allgaier just going to let him go? And I say, even though he went by, the answer is no. What do you guys think here?
He definitely took it, but it was only a matter of time. You could see Justin. I talked about it before the race started. The center of the corner, you've got to keep the car rolling through the middle. Justin kept getting tighter and tighter. The 54 car was rolling better in the middle, and away he went.
And that's a tight clearing right there. Your spotter's got to be on it. And the spotters are almost right at that angle, so they're able to call that clear really close. And that's what he needed. If he gave Justin a little bit of room, boy, they'd still be fighting for the lead.
This is a tough little racetrack. And a lot of young drivers in the top 10. A pair of them right here on board with Haley. And to his left, our most recent winner, that's Harrison Burton. The battle for the 8th position. Austin Cindric, a part of that mix as well.
Very demanding racetrack. Grip level is right on the edge. And then all of a sudden you add the element of this traction compound and what it's done to shake up this race. I like that. Yes, it's the preferred line. It's the fastest way around is the outside in this traction compound, but at least you have that option. We see a lot more side-by-side racing, I think, because of it.
It's a very technical and mentally challenging racetrack. Trying to work around other cars, getting clean air, trying to push your car right up against the traction compound as hard as possible, or trying to creep the bottom, trying to stay right on that yellow paint. It's very technical, and even in 3 and 4, the same thing about just trying to get right to the bottom, not overdriving your car. It is a very, very challenging, one of the most challenging racetracks we go to.
Down to 9 laps to go. Here in our second stage, Ross Chastain is third. What's the story there, Vince?
Well, at one time he was challenging. The previous pit stop, they made an air pressure adjustment, and Chastain says that helped him on exit, but he's still a little bit tight in the center. He just can't get the car to turn the way he needs it to turn to get to where he wants to go.
But he's 1.3 seconds behind the race leader. I said he's in the third spot. The good news for him, he's got track position, and you have to have that if you're going to win here.
Get into anything or just random smoke? Enough smoke behind you right now. On exit 4 mostly, so I can see. Just double check all your gauges. Got it in here too.
Smoke?
Yeah,
that's not what I thought I was going to hear.
That's concerning.
I didn't necessarily see that. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
And this late in the run, you kind of wonder where'd that come from? It didn't seem like he made any contact here lately. We just seen him come by here.
You can definitely see it when he went into the corner there.
Well, the good news for them now, 7 laps to go in this stage. So we're closing on a caution they know they're going to get, and it will open the door for them to investigate. These 3 just can't get away from each other.
This has been a really fun race to watch so far. Oh, and we got bumper cover on the racetrack.
That's the 6 of David Starr that's off the pace. 15.
Oh,
it's a 15. Not the 6 of David Starr. Colby Howard making his debut.
He's definitely knocked the rear end out from underneath of it, broke the track bar or something.
He almost got hit going down the straightaway, just going slow there because the
that's a hard hit there, guys. Really hard hit.
Now you talk about opposite ends of the spectrum. I said it's David Starr, it's Colby Howard. Starr's made almost 500 starts in NASCAR's top 3 series. This is the first.
Ooh, my big hit. That's way too high there, guys.
Yeah, he got very high, got to where it's dirty, and it took off on him. And boy, I tell you what, when you make a right side impact like that, it is the most solid part of the car. It doesn't give, it knocks the wind right out of me watching it.
You can almost see the dirt, on top of that traction compound. Man, I told you, it's a big hit. And then Brad actually hit the back bump right. It'd be interesting to see if he's got damage on the front of his car.
This is what Ross Chastain saw.
Good miss, good heads up. You always got to look so far ahead at what's coming your way.
That could have been a lot worse. I mean, you saw there riding with Justin Haley, just how quickly they were coming up on him. I mean, his pace was cut in half or maybe more, and those guys had to avoid him racing at speed down that back straightaway.
And then the other aspect of that is you don't know, is the steering broke? You can't really tell which way he's going to go. He's going to continue down to the bottom. He was having trouble keeping the car underneath of him. That's always, something that comes up on your lanes in your lap.
It's like if you're going down the highway at 70 miles an hour and someone's going 30, and the car in front of you pulls to the left, and it's like, oh my goodness, there's that car. That's what just happened.
And pit road is open, and some strategy playing out here. The leader's coming down, Vince.
Well, you see Justin Allgaier, he is second in line, and Ross Chastain is, or you see Austin Cindric pulling off there in the 22, just trying to get a handle on this 22 car, and just haven't found the balance that they needed. As far as the 7 of Justin Allgaier is concerned, just too tight in the middle. Needs help rolling the center, Jamie.
Kyle Busch on the left-hand side. He's not racing for stage points, so they said bring it on down. Kyle said he liked those changes, wanted more of them. It was a wedge and air pressure, and it looked like a close call for Kyle Busch on pit road.
Let's watch the race off. And it's always interesting here because they have to come all the way around and basically exit right here at turn 4 near the dogleg. Gragson again picks up 2 positions. Allgaier falls to second, and the 39 of Ryan Sieg stayed out. And our top 7 cars stayed on the racetrack, did not pit. Ross Chastain leads the way. He'll take the outside lane. Sieg, Brown, Josh Williams, Alex Labay, the other drivers up there. First one on fresh tires. Noah Gragson, here we go.
And this is about to get crazy. Got a lot of cars that haven't been up there on old tires, some cars with new tires, 2 to go. Woo!
Kyle Busch way down on the apron. Look at him coming down there.
Three wide in different places as they come down the back straightaway. 1 lap to go in the stage as they hit the start-finish line. Track position playing huge dividends for Ross Chastain, but don't write off Noah Gragson. Here comes that 9 car.
And this is where it's so key for Ross Chastain to have a good start to get ahead. But look how much faster the 9 of Noah Gragson is on tires. All those cars on tires are right behind him. This is going to be a battle down into the last corner before you
think he'll move him?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to say
he gave
no.
it to him. Gave him the bottom right here.
Chastain is high. Gragson takes the inside for the stage win. Engine number 9, Noah Gragson gets the victory. That was thrilling.
Great racing.
Chastain second. Briscoe was third. Kyle Busch got back to fourth. Allgaier, who won stage 1, was fifth. Sieg, Jones, Burton, Cindric, and Brown, your top 10. Second career stage win for Noah Gragson. Tomorrow, XFL continues on FS1. Standout quarterback Jordan Ta'amu and St. Louis take a look to increase their lead atop the Eastern Conference as they take on Cardell Jones and DC. It's tomorrow, 3 Eastern on FS1. You can also watch it on the Fox Sports app. So pit road had not yet opened, and Ross Chastain came on down. Very frustrating, despite the fact he's finished second in both these stages, Vince.
Well, and they talked about whether or not it was a power steering issue. That's what was causing the smoke. We had reported that they had some smoke in the cockpit. He had a power steering issue. They brought him down to pit road before the pits opened, so they'll have a penalty for that. But they felt like it was more important to address the issue. They've replenished the fluid, the power steering fluid. But Ross said that last lap without the power steering was a handful. But they think they've got it taken care of. Jamie?
Another solid run for Ryan Sieg. I love listening to the communication on this team. Ryan just saying he needs a little bit of help, needs more grip, as they're all saying, but they are going to make, you saw it there, a wedge adjustment. They made a track bar adjustment as well, 4 tires and an air pressure adjustment, thinking ahead to get him to the end.
By the way, Ross Chastain did go 1 lap down, something we'll keep an eye on. Winner of Stage 2, Noah Gragson, Junior Motorsports, sweeping the day. Joey?
Let's see if we can dial him up. Hey, Noah Gragson, it's Joey Logano up here in the Fox booth. You got a copy on us?
You got to push a button, Joey.
I did. Hey, Noah, it's Joey Logano up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, you guys are on our channel too. Go to another channel. I'll talk to you.
Well, I don't know how to do that.
Joey.
I love live television.
Maybe try this.
Oh.
No, that's the wrong car. Do that.
So we had Brad
there you
trying
go.
to operate the telestrator at Daytona. Now Joey in the radio, you know?
Hey, Noah, it's Joey Logano in the booth. You copy?
Yeah.
There we go. Hey, man, nice job on that restart, man. Those tires and up there in the top lane. That was very exciting for us up here. Tell us a little bit about your car.
Yeah, I feel like we got a pretty good nationwide children's Camaro here. Dave Ellens and the rest of the team done a great job on adjustments all race so far. And the pit crew, man, this pit crew is really, really good. They got us some spots on pit road and gave me the opportunity to get up there to win that stage. So overall, just really thankful to be racing in the Xfinity Series, thanks to NASCAR, and long race still to go. So just got to keep on working at it, stay focused, not put ourselves in any bad positions, and hopefully be there at the end.
10-4, man. Have a go. And your pit crew seems to be like they're rocking down there, so it looks like fun.
Roger.
You know who's feeling good right now? William Byron, Chad Knaus. That crew going to pit the 24 here tomorrow. We know stops will be huge. Final stage from Phoenix on the way. Stick with us on FS1.
be announced on Monday on Phoenix Raceway's social media channels and at Phoenix Raceway.
because I'm sitting next to two guys who have been really good in the Xfinity Series, I will say Kyle Busch is one of the best ever when it comes to racing on Saturdays. But you look at the overall numbers, he's done it all. I mean, he's the all-time wins leader, and he's a champion. And then you go over and look at what he's accomplished at Phoenix. He checks every box. 11 wins here, matching Mark Martin for the most wins at an individual track. He could break that record today. Update the poll numbers because he got his 10th this morning. And then the history of the 54 car, and you can see Kyle Busch has taken them to winner's circle on 25 different occasions.
You said it. He does check all the boxes. In any car, speaking of checking the boxes, look how close this box was. Coming in hot. That was close.
What do you know about that, Jamie?
Well, you guys are talking about Kyle. You know, he has 96 wins. And remember last year, he told us all, he said it to everybody in the media, when I get to 100 wins, I will hang it up and walk away from the Xfinity Series. Joey and Clint, what do you think the reality of that is?
He won't. No way. He loves the race. We all love the race. And he's got the opportunity to do it. So take it as long as you can, if you ask me. So, I mean, he was the one that wanted to run way more after they changed the rules.
Yeah.
That you couldn't race much as a Cup driver.
Justin Haley going to restart 9th here. Let's listen in.
Just so you know, buddy, we got one set of tires left. Your out lap is 168 out of fuel. Good to go to the end is 120.
Not a ton of strategy here because everybody, as we heard there, has one set of tires left, and you do have to pit one more time based on fuel.
But it could be, you know, if we get some cautions here at the end of the race, somebody saves the tires or something else, strategy can come into play.
Gragson wins stage 2, takes the outside lane on the restart. That's Briscoe to his inside.
You see a pretty equal start on the front row. They're both side by side, and Kyle Busch going to the bottom,
way on the apron,
trying to make it work.
3 wide, why not?
He's not even on the racetrack right there. Look at this.
Gregson all the way up in the Traxxon compound. He has grip. He has the lead off of turn 2.
That's one thing I do like about this track. You take the green flag there, roll off into turn 1, and you fan out. I mean, he's not even on the racetrack, 30, 40 feet off of the racing surface and still digging.
There's plenty others down there, too, from the back.
I guess it goes without saying, unlike Daytona and Talladega, there is no out of bounds at Phoenix.
Right.
And he makes a nice move. He's going to maybe clear himself up. Oh, yeah, that's a really tight squeeze there.
Allgaier's got to run on Briscoe now. I think those are the two best cars. Those are your two best horses. The 54 and the 7. It's a race between them is what I see.
It's all about how you work through traffic. We've seen how hard it is to actually pass cars here. It's been tough. You know, you're able to get runs, get underneath them, but clearing was hard.
You see Brad almost on the brink of jumping the cushion, as I call it. He was close.
He's 9th right now. Things settling down on our final stage. Cindric goes inside of Brandon Jones. They are racing for 7th. Noah Gragson leads. We're past halfway. Let's crank it up.
Clear. Clear by 2, all clear. Clear, in line tight, you're clear. Way low inside, door, left rear. Clear. Clear by 1, hit your mark. To the top. Still too wide, still out there. 19, still there. Still there the whole way. You hit by 3. At your door. Still at your door. clear behind him if you need it. Lane's closing behind him. Get up if you need it. Still there. Clear behind him if you need it by 1. Coming. 5 back to 20. Here. You in the 7. Easy in, big run off. Still there, left rear. Back even. Nice, smooth, run your line. Left rear, bumper covered, clear. In line. Very tight with you.
Final stage underway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Phoenix. Great to have you with us on a wonderful Saturday afternoon in the desert with Clint Boyer, Joey Logano. I'm Adam Alexander. Noah Gragson wins stage 2. Cycles out the race leader as we begin this final stage and doing a yeoman's effort keeping that top spot in front of Kyle Busch. And here's Justin Allgaier reintroducing himself to the front. He goes around Chase Briscoe. We'll step aside. 90 laps to go. Gragson, Busch, Allgaier, Briscoe, and Burton the top 5. What a cutie, huh? The top 3 looks a little bit different here at Phoenix. Gragson still leading, but Allgaier, his teammate, has now jumped to second in front of Kyle Busch, and it won't be long before these JRM teammates are side by side for that first position. Here goes Allgaier now.
And we saw Justin Allgaier just be able to pass Kyle Busch in the 54 and made it look easy. Oh my goodness, that car is on rails.
Definitely before the race, he was my horse. He's the one that I picked. You know, he's good here. He's won here in the past, but he needs a big day. So, yeah, I agree. I didn't think he would pass the 54 quite as easy as you did, but he certainly did. Jamie, what do you got?
Well, no, Gragson just settled back into second. I talked to him before the race. He was really confident. He said this car is so much better than we showed in qualifying and practice. Why? Because we have our teammate Justin Allgaier's setup, who just took the lead, and they've been adjusting on Noah's car. He's gotten too tight, especially in 3 and 4, Vince.
Well, Justin Allgaier is one of those drivers that wasn't really in favor of the traction compound. He said, I feel like I get around here well enough without it. It just helps all those people that don't get around here quite so good. We've seen Allgaier go up in it and test it out a little bit, but there's no question, as you guys said, he is on rails. And Justin, I thought, had the comment that you guys certainly can understand. He said, clean air is king.
Always is.
Hey, you see some trash on the 9 car right there. Guarantee his temperature's going to be going up. You're going to have to pay attention to that. Maybe get some help. Maybe pull up on a lap car. Maybe have to let the 54 car go and try to, pull that off. I mean, when you get up to their bumper, you really can get off there.
Well, here's the other part of that. That tape, or garbage, or whatever you want to call it, on his grill right now. Yes, it's making his motor hot, but it's adding turning. It's adding front turn to that car. So, you almost want to keep it on if your motor can handle it, depending on how far over temps you are. Because when he gets that off, as small as that looks, that's a lot of front downforce added to the front of a race car.
And just so you know, folks at home, that is a noticeable distance. You get that on the front of your car, instantly, he was talking about being tight, all those problems go away.
How about these Xfinity regulars in front of Kyle Busch today? What's the 54 dealing with, Jamie?
Well, Kyle Busch wanted some more adjustments. He really liked that wedge and air pressure. Now, though, he's telling the team we went too far on it. He said he has no trust in the back, no trust at all. But, of course, that's Kyle when he gets past, right?
But they get one more stop. I mean, we talked about that earlier. Will it be under green? Will there be a caution? And as we go to 79 remaining, we're in the window now where they could go the rest of the way on fuel.
You talk about the adjustments to Kyle Busch's car. He takes off in the beginning of the race so tight, right? And there's only so much you can do during a pit stop. It's not like you're changing springs and bars and trying to fix, adding front turn to the car. A lot of times all you can do is unhook the back a little bit to try to get the balance of the car. But now it looks like now the back of his car is not hooked up. The front of a car is not working good. And now you got nothing.
So you heard the in-car right there, Briscoe, again, Chase Briscoe, several times, about every lap almost. You've heard him shifting down here in 3 and 4. That's something that I didn't expect. And honestly, to Joey, when he said this earlier, I didn't think that you could do that as often as he has. Listen to this. Very important to hit your downshift right, too, right? The timing of that, you can really upset your car, get the thing loose. If you downshift too quick, get a wheel hop sensation, you could bust your butt in a hurry.
Boy, but you could see just when he was able to downshift and get the run on Kyle Busch was pretty awesome. You got quite a bit more power when you crank them up as Kyle goes right back by and they slice each other back and forth. Pretty cool.
Great pictures from our Ford Performance Racing School onboard camera. And Briscoe trying to get around Kyle Busch.
Now that the back's caught up just a little bit, now Clouds in the center of the corner. It's either too loose or weak.
I hope he don't get it right. He's going to be in trouble for the competition if he ever gets happy in that thing, because he's certainly not happy right there.
Going around the lap car, that's the 61 of Timmy Hill. Give him a shout out for his great run to open the season at Daytona. Second-generation driver got his career best when he finished third.
I tell you, Kyle Busch is not happy unless that thing is driving good and he is in the lead. And that's something that's a good thing to have, right? You want to have that passion and want to win that bad. Here you see the 18 car get too high into the not-so-awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Get too high.
Not-so-awesome sauce right there for sure. A lot of damage on the right rear, too. It's going to be definitely going to be looser when he goes into this corner. It's unbelievable. You knock that right. Everybody just keeps trying. Oh, the 8's back into the wall. You just keep moving that up a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher. And finally, you jump that cushion, get into the dust, as Joey was talking about, and away she goes.
And it's hard to see it, Clint, especially as you run more and more laps. Your windshield gets pitted up, and you can't see all the little debris.
Yeah,
and that's where it gets challenging. When you have the fresh tear off on a pit stop, you can see everything. But after 15 laps or so, it's pitted up pretty bad.
That was Dylan Bassett in the 90 making the pass on Hemrick after the wall hit for him. And this is the 98 of Chase Briscoe, who's picked up the position finally. We go on board to see how this happened.
Honestly, I think Kyle finally realized he's better than us right now. Probably a little bit of that attitude we heard on the radio. Let him go. We got a caution, guys.
And now the caution. 5th of the day. See if we can pick up the reason why.
We got this black car here on the bottom. I'm not sure who it is. The numbers rubbed
Went to
off.
the floor.
I guess Joe Nemechek in the 47, yeah.
I went to the floor.
Sounds like a pedal went to the floor.
Something popped, and the pedal went to the floor.
Driving for Mike Harmon.
Sounds like maybe a rotor exploded, possibly. When you hear a big pop like that and the pedal goes down, that's a scary feeling, especially on this turn 3. It's a very sharp corner. Yes, and you're just along for a ride, and boy, you just see the big hit coming.
Okay, what do you do here? 72 to go. You're in your window. You got one set of tires. Do you come, get fuel only, get an adjustment, and save those tires in case we get a caution late? Or do you pit now and say, put them on and ride it out?
This is what I love about the Xfinity Series and having a tire limit like they do that's so close. 72 laps is a long time, but they just ran, I don't know how many laps, but a fair amount of them.
I think the one to look at is the 12 car. He's the one that's already shown his hand. Hey, we're not here for points. We're only here for a win. They're the ones that can afford to get off sequence here, maybe capitalize on a set of tires at the end of this thing, pounce on them with something that they don't have. This is definitely a pivotal point in the race.
I mean, if you pit here and you run 30, 40 laps and the caution comes out and you have no tires left,
you're in trouble.
You're a sitting duck.
But I think he's in a perfect catbird seat. The 54 car, we heard him. He's not happy with his car. I would say that they're going to pit. They're up on the wall right there. Junior Motorsports boys they look like they're going to, let's see what happens.
Free pass to Timmy Hill.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, we got a mixed bag. There are some, though, coming down for service. What will they do here to Vince Welch?
Well, the 12 of Brad Keselowski just a little bit too tight overall. He said the car is getting better, and they're certainly going in the right direction, but they got to free that thing up if he's going to go to the front. You see the chassis adjustment. Jamie on the 54.
They go to work on Kyle Busch's car, undoing some of those adjustments from last time. Meanwhile, the 98 of Chase Briscoe works his way down pit road. Said he fired off a little too free. They're good on the long run, so they need a long run here. And the 9 of Noah Gragson in his pit box there. He did a good job maintaining his tires. He said, we too are good on the long run. I need to be a little bit freer, though. 98 actually made that call, guys. They decided to stay out because they are so good on that long run.
Pit road's so important. And again, the 19 delivers. Great stop for Brandon Jones at +3. The rest of them coming off the pit lane, Harrison Burton, Kyle Busch, and Brad Keselowski. Green flag when we return, and they're out of balance on tires. This will be fun. Got it.
Oh, yeah.
All set for the restart with 68 laps to go at Phoenix for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And you need to download the Fox Sports Super 6 app and play Super 6 NASCAR for free for a chance to win up to $40,000 this week. Get your picks in now. It's a progressive jackpot, and no one has hit the jackpot in the first 3 weeks of the season, so we're up to $40,000. Top two on the restart stayed out. They're on older tires. This is going to be an interesting stretch run.
Got a race now, boys.
Oh,
it's
man.
going to be way interesting. Old tires, new tires coming.
And those guys on old tires, they're in trouble. They know it. They're just going to try to, stop the bleeding a little bit and try to maintain and hope for a caution
way
later on.
outside right there. 4 wide. Look at that, huh?
4 wide. Is that allowed at
Burton
Phoenix?
way down on the apron.
Look at Brandon Jones mixing it up.
That was really, he was on the brink, right on the edge of that cushion that we've been talking about. That was a power move for sure.
How impressive is Harrison Burton? Top 5 in every race this year. Wins for the first time last week. Today just laying in the weeds, but the money's on the line. And here comes the 20 car again.
Been watching him do this for a long time, since he was a little kid. Obviously, Jeff Burton was my teammate. Watch Harrison Burton grow up. Watch him win a lot of races in a lot of different cars.
One of 8 father-son combos to go to victory lane in the Xfinity Series. How about our race leader, Vince?
Well, tough call for the crew chief of Justin Allgaier's car, Jason Burdett, of whether or not to come or stay out. They elected to stay out because they want to keep a fresh set of tires for a caution later in this race. As we tick down toward the checkered flag, they don't want that late caution and not have fresh rubber to put on. They thought they'd take their chances now, hope for the caution, and be the one that has the fresh tires.
I'll tell you who does have fresh good years is Kyle Busch, and he's making the most of it on these restarts. That's where he shines.
Trouble.
Oh.
Will there be a caution here? That's Brandon Brown who's sideways.
Out. Caution's
And there it is.
They needed about 10 or 15 more laps, I think.
enough.
Yeah. I think it's too soon, actually.
But, this is big for this guy, Ross Chastain.
Finally gets the lucky dog.
Yeah, couldn't take the wave around last time because Allgaier stayed out. Now he's in the free pass position. Last time he lost out to Timmy Hill.
Let's see what happened here. Down into turn 3.
Gets pinched pretty hard right there.
And it starts sliding up,
Yeah.
and they're both going to go for a ride here.
That's just racing, and that's racing getting into 3 and 4. It's very, very tight. You don't have a lot of room. That car doesn't
flat.
give you a lot of room on the outside, and you get loose, and there's nothing you can do. You can't stay off of them.
Yeah, and then that's where the crash has already started, and you're just trying to figure out where that 68 car is going to go, and there's no telling. But it's just a very flat entry into turn 3. When you're side by side, you lose all your side force, and the car just really wants to step around. It's something you have to be ready for, and try to get the outside car in a spot to where it's not going to control you as the bottom car.
Do they pit here, or do you need to try to go a little bit farther?
I think you got to go further. I think you've made your bed.
I mean, Briscoe's fallen back tonight. So he's lost all of that track position.
Yeah.
But if you're Allgaier, I mean, you still have the top spot, and those guys around you have burned off some of the freshness of their tires.
No, I don't think so. I don't
Not
think
at all?
it's yet. Nope.
Okay.
Not enough.
What will they do? Perhaps answers coming on the radio.
Well, now our question is this. We got to pit here one way or another, I think. Or, we got to get fuel in it and hope for a later caution to get the tires. Or we can just stay out and try to hold them off and hope for that caution and do it all. You pick, brother. I'm good with whatever you decide, man.
You get paid to call the race. I get paid to hold the steering wheel.
Well, they're thinking here, let's put some fuel in it to where they can make it to the end of the race. So if it does go green, they don't have to make a green flag stop and lose 2 laps. It's going to be hard for them to hold their track position on old tires as it is, which he's already done a good job staying in the lead. Here he is coming. Be interesting to see what he does here. Vince?
Yeah, for sure they wanted to get fuel in it because they were afraid if by chance they don't get a caution in these next 30 laps, then they would be out of fuel. So fuel in the car for sure. They still haven't decided about the tires. It's going to be fuel only right here on a late call from Jason Burdett. They did put a little bit of tape on the front, and the 98 coming as well, of course, and Jamie Little's there waiting.
And Chase Briscoe, it was a miscommunication. He apologized. He was supposed to pit last time, so they come in this time back and forth debating, do we do fuel or tires or what? They decided it will be their last set of sticker tires here. 4, they got the tear off. They'll fill it up with fuel. A lot of debating on that radio.
Another factor here, the number of cars that are on the lead lap at the lot, 27. So either way,
you're lying in the bed you made here. You know, you got to give luck a chance to operate in the situation they're in. I like the 7. Save the tires.
Me too.
Let's get a caution with 20 to go and see what happens, right? That'd make it entertaining. Back in a moment. .59 laps to go in Phoenix for these Xfinity cars. Brandon Jones is the leader. And after the pit stop for tires, Justin Allgaier being scored 19.
I mean, the only advantage we have is if we have tires late when them guys don't. I'm sorry.
What are you sorry about, man? We're doing the right thing right here. Listen, brother, we're in this together. There's going to be a caution. Things are going to work out. We're going to go wax them at the end, all right? That's all I can tell you.
So he takes fuel only. And the tires go to the 98 of Chase Briscoe. Here are their thoughts on the radio.
Man, we screwed it all up. I did. It's my fault. We got to make the most of it now.
See what happens.
You know, and I really like the strategy of Justin Allgaier and his crew chief. Great move, if you ask me. Here's a great-looking kid. Awesome stuff, by the way. But, you know,
his demeanor.
Yes, his demeanor, his leadership quality right there to control the situation, you know, his whole team. You know how it is, Clint. As a driver, you are a leader of the team. He did a great job with that. Here we are back green.
Brandon Jones in that outside lane. Look at Kyle Busch. Down low, not messing around, 3 wide for third.
Whoa.
And going for a slide. Daniel Hemrick can't save it. There's a caution.
Still not enough laps for the 7.
No.
But I think you about have to now. I don't know.
No, I don't think
Still 58 to go. Stick to your plan, right, Joey?
You got to stick to it. You just got to get 15, 20 laps of green.
But I will say, with every cycle, your tires keep building more air pressure. More air pressure. They keep. If you were tight, you're going to be tighter. All those things keep coming in with cycles.
Let's see what happened here.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot of damage.
Look at it. I can tell you, 3 wide, 4 wide.
And you just
they
see
just
that
got in there too hard.
Yep, it just
probably
got
was already fighting a little bit loose getting in, trying to stay off the 12. 12 he's going to have quite a bit of damage too, and then a hard hit right there as he come down across the traffic.
But most everybody we see here on the lead lap, and so you take them maybe out of the equation, which could open the door should we get that late caution for the 7 of Justin Allgaier.
That's right. A lot of carnage coming
back
for
it
this
down.
cat.
Back it down. Just stay up top. Stay up top. Stay up top. Keep coming up top. Caution is out. Caution is out. Going slow there in front of you.
Here's a 98, just got tires. This is a spot you put
Yeah,
yourself in when you're in
that's
track
right.
position.
Middle, easy. All rolling middle here. All rolling.
That was a big hit for Ray Black.
In those situations, you're trying to listen to your spotter, and can you trying to look at where the cars are in front of you, which direction they're going to go. Man, it's just a tough spot to be in.
Joe Graff Jr. out of his race car, done for the day. We're going side by side with 56 laps remaining in Phoenix. Down to 54 laps remaining for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Such a beautiful day here in Phoenix as we finish this thing off. And I want to rewind a week. You know, Harrison Burton wins, hits the kill switch, and our guy Regan Smith sprints to get the victory lane interview. And he's not the only guy we're used to seeing running out here on the West Coast swing. Was it 2012 when Boyer was sprinting through the garage? How about this side-by-side?
This was the worst run ever. What a wasted attempt. Like, you run all that distance, and you get there, and you're like, what the hell did I do that for? There's nobody here to fight.
But, I mean,
where was he?
You know what? He locked himself in the trailer, he said. What? Locked yourself? Come on, man. Why did you have to bring that up? That's a horrible memory of Phoenix.
You think it's bad
that
for
was
you?
you, wasn't it?
Oh, I had nothing to do with that.
Did you think that was funny?
No, because I was involved in that crash, too.
Oh, yeah. See, it wasn't
I
fun
didn't
for
find
anybody.
any humor
Jeff,
in it at all.
Wasn't fun for anybody, but it was definitely an experience in the desert. But speaking of the desert, you know, I saw that the footage there of the background. This is as green as I think I've ever seen it out here. I don't know what's going on. Must have had some rain here.
But is this not one of the best scenes that we have in the sport. I mean, this place is awesome.
Beautiful
cool.
weekend. You couldn't have asked for better weather here to watch a race. The fans, looking forward to tomorrow. Watching these Xfinity races, Joey, it gets you excited to get, behind the wheel and have our try at it. I didn't qualify very good. Driver let my boys down. We're qualified 18. Where are you at?
We are 13th, so
13th,
not much
so
better.
Both of us are in the trunk, going to be coming up through them. And as we see, it's so easy to pass. Really looking forward to that tomorrow.
I was going to say, today and tomorrow alike, and that they're short races.
My man.
I mean, these are sprints.
Look at that kid. That, Joey.
He doesn't look as happy as the kid that was wearing the 22 on his face. It's more commitment.
That's why he's not very happy, but we'll be back tomorrow, kid. We'll be going for it.
Yeah, even though you qualified 18th, he's still representing.
That's right.
So today it's 200 miles, a little longer tomorrow, but it's going to be entertaining.
The final ride of the West Coast Swing is here. The NASCAR Cup Series travels to Phoenix Raceway. The track is tough, the conditions are rough, and the desert won't do you any favors. If you can't take the heat, get out of the way and get out of the race. Coverage begins 2 p.m. Eastern on FS1.
See Chase Elliott there. He's on the pole. Ryan Blaney, a part of our promotional page, signed that big contract.
Yeah.
Look at this happy kid.
Yeah, he looks a lot more happy, yeah.
We heard
looks
that
like
was
22 hurts his face is what it looks like.
we heard that the hat the other kid was wearing was a Tony Stewart hat.
Hey, I'll take him any way I can get him, baby.
Look, he looks happy to be here. He's ready to watch his car go to the front tomorrow.
One of the things we saw under the break that really showed where Joey was talking about how dirty that was on the outside.
A long cleanup, so we'll step aside under caution for the 7th time today here at Phoenix. It's been a crazy race here, and we still have 50 laps to go. But let's give an attaboy to the guy that won the championship in 2000, Jeff Green. 1 week ago, he crew chiefed this car from Myatt Snyder to an 11th place finish. Today he's driving and in the top 10.
That's
Great
pretty
job.
neat.
Yeah, way cool. Great story.
Jeff Green been in the sport for a long time. You talk about him winning the championship in the Xfinity Series in 2000. That's 20 years ago.
Were you alive then, Joey?
Yes, I was.
Barely.
Alive and racing.
Like 3?
the drama continues in the 7 pit, Vince.
With the crew chief, Jason Burnett, tough call to make, and then the yellows keep falling, maybe not at the right time. But how do you size up your chances here as we wait to go back green?
Well, I mean, ideally we would get 20, 25 laps of green there where those guys could get a bunch of laps on their tires, when we still have that set to put on. It's 50-50, right? If we'd have pitted there, I bet you half of them stayed out. So they were all going to do the opposite of what we were doing. So, hopefully with any luck right here, this thing will go green, like I said, 20, 25 laps, and then, that'll give us a fair shot at the end, with new tires against their older stuff, and see where we stack up.
Good stuff. We'll see how that shakes out, guys.
And look who's just in front of him on the restart here. Josh Williams, 10th last weekend at California. We've been tracking him today.
He's doing a great job.
Yeah, he's driving for Mario Goslin, and that team has really done a nice job this year.
But that's what this series is all about. You have your Cup stars. Everybody knows that superstar Kyle Busch, and this is the cat that's got a story to make.
Let's learn more about Josh Williams, who, he doesn't just drive them, he works on them. And he's from Port Charlotte, Florida. I mean, he's driven everything throughout his life. Got married a couple of years ago. His wife, big supporter of his racing career. And he does hospital tours to children's hospitals every weekend on the road.
Very cool.
He gets their handprints, and then that's his paint scheme for the final race of the year. Isn't that neat?
That is really cool. What a great story. Those are some of the stories that you wish we were able to talk more about we didn't know about. That's the first I've heard of it. What a great thing to try to involve kids that he meets throughout the season and throw their handprint on the car. It means so much. These kids go through so much more than most of us will ever imagine, and we think our life is hard, but boy, they have it tough and have a great attitude, so a great perspective.
Cleaning the tires here, you know what that means, Joey?
We're going, finally.
Go time, baby. All right, it's just all guy are going to get a caution here. We need about 10 laps and a caution for him to stay alive in this thing. It's running out of time.
3 of the top 4 from Joe Gibbs Racing on the restart. The lone Chevy up there, Noah Gragson. The top 4 at Austin Cindric. Let's see what Jones can do from that outside lane.
Interesting, Kyle Busch took the bottom of this restart. Got such a big jump, it's not going to matter anyway.
Well, he was on the inside last time when Jones was the control car, and he was able to take the lead right away. And you see Jones is going in the wrong direction. Good restart for Noah Gragson. And Cindric is getting back in the game.
Yeah, Noah went way too high and got into the dirty part of the awesome sauce there.
There's going to be some pushing, some rooting and gouging now. It's go time.
Three wide, this is 4 position. Allgaier on those older tires. I mean, how good is he at this place? He's passing guys that have better tires than he does.
And he's hanging strong, and don't forget, Chase Briscoe has tires on the bottom trying to make it work and getting by him. So Chase's play right here is to just try to salvage the best finish he possibly can. It's going to be hard for him to get all the way to the lead. And Justin's play is, try to save what I can, get what I can, and hope for a caution with about 20 to go, 25 to go, and he's going to be looking good.
Here's what Allgaier's saying on the radio, 13th right now.
All good, buddy. Oh, you know it. I think it'd be cool if we just drove all the way up there and passed him for the lead with old tires.
That's a lot of confidence in your race car right there. If he could do that, whoo, more power to him. That'd be amazing.
I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, but you know what this says to me? When we come back for the championship, if he can get himself in those final 4 drivers that are eligible, he is unequivocally the favorite. He has put on a show today.
100%.
You have to push every element of this game. That's why I like the crew chief's decision. Man, he went for it. He had a hot rod capable of winning. Still is capable of winning, by the way. We're not out of this thing. The caution can still come out, and this can play in his favor. But to get around and beat Kyle Busch on this racetrack, you got to think outside the box. You got to go for it. Be aggressive.
Here's our Xfinity fastest laps today. Surprise, surprise. Kyle Busch at the top. Good day for Gragson, both over 128 miles per hour. So is Brandon Jones. Haley and Chastain, the teammates from Colleague Racing, also made the list. And Chastain now back in the top 10. We go on board here. What a comeback for this race team. no power steering, no problem, huh? They worked hard on that race car.
Yeah, and you wondered how they fixed it. You know, you saw some smoke. You got to think that maybe some of the fluid was dropping onto the headers or something. Maybe there was a loose line and they were able to tighten it up. You saw them putting fluid back in it. I guess they got the power steering fixed up, at least good enough for him to move forward.
Yeah, when it was smoking like that, I agree. Obviously, something was going on. Line loose, something happened there. They were able to get fixed. He's rolling. You can see these guys. They're testing the waters, man. Somebody's going to jump the cushion and be on the wall before this race is over. I believe it.
Allgaier's hoping so.
That's for sure.
He stabilized in 13th. This is Chase Briscoe, as Joey talked about. He came on the same lap as Allgaier, but he elected to get his final set of tires when Jason Burdett and Allgaier saved theirs. And you're seeing just how important track position is. Even though the tires weren't a lot newer, Briscoe not just slicing through the field.
Yeah, his tires aren't quite new enough. I just keep going back to the end of the second stage when Noah Gragson had tires on, and who was it that was up front at the time?
Chastain stayed out.
Chastain, yes, he stayed out. And how much quicker he was in just 3 or 4 laps. That could be the situation Justin Allgaier is in if he gets a caution here in the next probably 7 or 8 laps.
Gragson has been impressive today, Jamie.
He really has been, and coming in, the whole game plan was just let's tidy things up, not be too aggressive, and the 9 team has done a great job. He did get too high, though. You guys saw him get in the marbles on that restart. He slipped back a spot, but he's held on. Led 27 laps today, and this would be his first top 5 at Phoenix if he can hang on.
It'd be his 3rd top 5 of the year in 4 races, too. So you talk about good starts, and this team has got an unbelievable history and heritage in the Xfinity Series, winning championships. And Dave Ellens is a great coach on the pit box.
One of the things I see here, guys, is turns 3 and 4. It's getting in the shade. That it's going to pick up grip. I think the bottom line will probably start to prevail here, but that's definitely changing everybody's setup that they have in the hot rod.
Here we got a good battle here for 3rd place. You got last week's winner with Harrison Burton, Noah Gragson running the bottom. This is a good battle with a good run from the top side. And then he's going to have to try to figure it out in the bottom here. It's tough down the bottom in 1 and 2 at this flat corner.
Hey, we're talking about what today means for the future with the championship race being here. You give him a full season to grow.
Absolutely.
I'd be shocked if Burton's not a part of the equation here in November.
With the way he's fired off this season, I'd agree with that 100%. And he was patient there, trying to figure out how to make a run on the top. Way down the bottom. I think he's going to clear before he gets to the corner.
And to be honest with you, got beat up a little bit in the Truck Series. Wasn't quite as good as I thought he would be. To see him get in this Xfinity car, rise to the occasion, already get a win in California, big step in the right direction for Harrison Burton.
That was a nice pass right there. He did a good job. And you see him get in the corner and get loose. That's what happens when these cars get really close to the back bumper of another. You lose a lot of rear downforce. And you're already on edge as you go into turn 3 where he just was. And when a car packs air on you like that, it frees you up pretty quick.
A lot of young drivers inside the top 5, but they're all chasing the veteran Kyle Busch, the all-time wins leader when it comes to the Xfinity Series. And he's out front with 35 remaining as we go side by side. 29 laps to go for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Phoenix. No team has won more here than Joe Gibbs, 12 victories. No one has had more wins here than Kyle Busch, 11 trips to victory lane for driver 54. The running 1-2-3 today is JGR, and a win would mean 500 in the top 3 series of NASCAR for Toyota. That's pretty incredible.
Oh, absolutely. The Gibbs dominance is definitely very apparent. But, boys, I'm telling you, Brandon Jones is dogging our leader, Kyle Busch. What an upset that would be. A feather in the hat to Brandon Jones if he could pass Kyle Busch, a champion, for the win.
What's going on here with Myatt Snyder?
It's a little too high. We see that again.
And, you know, Justin Allgaier says we need a caution. And if Chastain keeps racing with Cindric, we might just get one.
Yeah, here you see just some back and forth. Now, obviously, there's a little bad blood from the early part of the race where Ross Chastain got in the back of him. And then here we see Ross getting back in the back of Austin Cindric again. A good save.
Again.
But
I think a break. This is where you said, what would you say you do to him?
I think I would have maybe made a little bigger move if I was Austin on that one. So one time, okay. Second time, I don't believe he was so sorry about the first time. But
telling you guys, look at Brandon Jones. He is dogging the leader.
What's the latest on Chastain, Vince?
Well, it's amazing. Remember, he was a lap down after having to come in and tighten up that power steering line, which was creating an issue for him. They fell a lap down. They got the free pass, and he has driven right back up through the field inside the top 10. Been a really strong showing from that Kaulig team today.
Yeah, it speaks to how strong that race car is. But you said it, Clint. This race is not over. No. 25 laps to go, and Jones getting better and better by the lap.
What I see is Kyle Busch getting loose into the corner. We've heard him say he's fighting rear grip, and you can see him getting loose in. Now, there is nobody better at an Xfinity race and managing that than Kyle Busch. But if he can get to the inside or the outside of him, this race is over, I think.
And if a car is loose like that, Brandon Jones can get to the back bumper of Kyle Busch and loosen him up. Like we were talking about, taking that downforce off that rear spoiler is going to be the way he's going to free him up and get around him, get Kyle to make a mistake. So if he can keep that pressure on him, it's hard to get Kyle to make a mistake, but if you can take some air off his car, he may make one.
It's another Cup driver that's marching back up through the field. Joey, we talked about it. Brad Keselowski's coming. He just passed for 4th right there. He has been in the wall. We saw on that crash that happened. Good rebound, right? We thought his day was over, and he's right back in it.
And look at Brandon Jones getting really high. You got to be careful up there. He's right on the edge of where that dirt is, and Kyle saw it coming, unwound the wheel a little bit, and got up in front of him. Kyle doing all he can do, knowing there's 22 laps, and he is getting big-time pressure from his teammate.
He's right there, Jamie.
It really is. Brandon Jones doing a great job. He said it just takes too long to get to us. He's a good long-run car, and that's what you're seeing now. It comes to life after a handful of laps. And also they're telling him right now, take care of your equipment. Take care of your tires. And, guys, something to note. Brandon Jones' pit crew is Kyle Busch's Cup crew, and they're kicking butt today.
There might be a slight bit of irony in that. You know, I go back to last year. Brandon Jones had never won. And it's like, when is it going to happen? And the minute he did it at Kansas last fall, it was like the light switch went on, and his confidence went through the roof. And I think that's why we're seeing what's happening right now, him going after Kyle Busch for the lead, and he is there.
Here it comes. It's got a big run on Kyle Busch by running the top side. Kyle went to the bottom, made the move, and now here comes the tough part.
Lap traffic.
Maybe not.
Clear.
What role will it play?
Wow. I thought he put up more of a fight than that. See, I think Kyle Busch is really, really loose in, but this isn't over. Power move by Brandon Jones, taking the lead, 20 to go. How about that?
And I tell you what, as a driver, if that gives you confidence, you know, you're a driver that hasn't been into the Cup level, you've been growing as a driver over and over, and you just passed last year's NASCAR Cup Series champion. That's amazing. That is a huge feather in the cap.
At Phoenix, he's won here 11 times as Kyle Busch and led over 2,000 laps. And now you start hearing every noise.
Oh, boy, do you. And it's shaking. The old wheels are shaking. Your foot's shaking on the brake pedal. I guarantee you the emotion's going through the roof for that kid in that car.
And you got two different stories. Brandon Jones at a 19 is saying, no caution, let it run 18 more laps green. And
Don't
Justin
get too
Allgaier is saying, somebody crash, something, anything. Just too different. It's funny how every driver has a different motive going on out there.
And there's Allgaier, who is 12th in our running order, but Vince 13 seconds back of our top spot in Brandon Jones.
Well, and Justin Allgaier's hoping that the caution is not him. He just radioed into his crew chief, Jason Burnett, and said, I'm concerned about my right front. Really feeling some instability there. They told him to back it down a little bit if he needs to, but boy, these guys definitely need a caution.
Desperately bad.
Last time he got tires into stage 2, so he's going a long way on those good years.
I guarantee you right now, he feels like it was yesterday.
That's Briscoe. A little bit fresher on his tires. Made that pit stop at lap 139. Got some fresh ones. 7th now as he goes by Chastain.
Crisscross you here. He's inside. Okay. Keep him 10.
I can tell you, the car behind him is your Cindric boy. I don't think that's over by the end of the race. 16 to go.
Yeah, that was a good move by Chase Briscoe there. He was able to get to the inside of him, pulled the slide job to clear him, and then back around, the whole switcheroo of what I'm going to call it, and then was able to stay on the outside of him. But right behind him is the 22 car, and he's probably still not happy. This might be the caution.
15 to go, and here's Austin Cindric's radio.
The 10 can either let me by or I'm going to spin him out. One of the two.
Okay.
Told you.
And we've seen him do it before.
This kid will bite back. That's what I like about Austin Cindric. You poke the old bear, he's going to come biting.
I don't see him letting him go right now.
You can see them both obviously fighting a tight condition right there. The cars are washing up. And you're out of grip, right, Adam? I mean, at the end of the race like this, you're out of options. It's just you make the best of what you got.
We've heard the radio. I want to know what the conversation is like on the spotter stand when Tyler Green, who's spotting for Ross Chastain, sees Josh Williams coming, and Williams says, hey, if you don't let us go, you might end up in the wall. I'd love to hear how that is relayed on the spotter stand.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes they just get away from each other, right? And then other times it's a fight in the elevator after the race. I have heard about that, too.
I would always say, I'm not driving the car.
Yeah.
Brandon Jones got by Kyle Busch, had pulled away. The advantage was a second. Got back down to 3/4 of a second. And now it's at 1 1/4. And we'll see 11 laps remaining after they come through turns 3 and 4 and past the start-finish line.
You see Harrison Burton running his teammate Kyle Busch down, showing the long-run speed that's in his car as well. And right behind there is Brad Keselowski. He was just in the wall, and is able to have a decent recovery so far, up to 4th. So, man, caution would change everything right now.
And back behind him in 5th, Justin Haley, who's trying to go back-to-back inside the top 5. Mentioned Burton on the move late. Good long-run car. And this to get himself in 2nd. Gosh, he's just, I know I've said it.
Oh, Mo.
I just can't say how impressed I am with what he is doing.
Momentum. Oh, Mo. Showing up in a big way right there. That's what that is.
All different kinds of tracks, too, which I think really spotlights what he's been able to accomplish.
And that's what I love about our sport. You leave an old wore-out, fast, big old racetrack like California, wins that thing, shows up here at Phoenix under the desert, hot, slick, traction compound, moving all over, restarts are crazy, rising to the occasion.
I want to point this out for Kyle Busch, though. Obviously he's falling backwards right now, but he's driving a car that doesn't run a lot. Right? If the teams that race every single weekend have a clear advantage because they're working together. It's not like a team that we picked apart everyone in the shop to come out. It's tough to do that, right? Things don't run as clean and as clear. The communication isn't as good. It's a challenge that Kyle's going to have to go through while he's driving this 54 car.
3rd with 9 to go, Jamie.
And that's a great point, Joey. This car will only run a handful of times this year. Right now, though, Kyle just saying no front tires. They feel like hockey pucks. There's nothing he can really do at this point.
And that's what it's all about in these long runs. It's just how do we keep the front tires on the car? And sometimes it has something to do with the driver helping, and also it has a lot to do with the setup of the car and trying to keep the front tires. It takes every piece of the team to make a fast race car around this place.
7 to go now.
Doing it.
Yes, he is.
He's praying right now. That's all he's doing. Man, everybody on the box, this is such a nerve-wracking feeling as you're driving off into the sunset. The cars are getting smaller in the mirror and behind you. You're just saying, boys, stay down. Nobody in the wall. That was close right there.
Might have been it.
He is that is definitely in the wall.
Yeah, it's Ross Chastain.
Yeah, absolutely. Jump the cushion. We saw it right there.
And the last thing Brandon Jones wants to see here is a caution.
Here's the 10. Just getting in a little bit high, a little bit hot. Slides up into the dirty part. And we've seen that happen a lot. And I tell you, Clint, I watched this a lot here today in cars just getting in, hitting the wall. And we always say it's not bad in an Xfinity car. But you do that in a Cup car,
over.
Your fender rubs, you're pitting, you have a flat tire coming quick. So we're going to have to be careful tomorrow because you're going to go faster up there. But if you get a little too much, ending your day.
You know, running in on that car's wake in front of him. You know, Noah was right there in front. He got in there, crossed his wake, front end takes off, and there's nothing you can do. You're along for the ride.
Going to be 4 laps remaining. 4 miles to a second win in the Xfinity Series for Brandon Jones. You know, a good start to the year. And then he comes out of California, wins the pole, leads the first 73 laps, wins stage 1, stage 2, and a tire problem sees him finish 30th. Sometimes that would beat you up.
Yeah.
What a major statement to come back here today and respond.
But today, you want to talk about today, you've got Cup guys, champions of this sport. Last year's champion is Joey Sprint. That's who he's just going to outrun. If he can get this thing to the checkered flag and pull this off, that is huge.
That's his crew chief, Jeff Mendering, who told me in the garage yesterday, his driver full of confidence. He's grown up a lot in the last few years, really in the last 6 months, and now under 3 laps to go.
Come with the 2 to go, half a straightaway back. Watch we don't get caught up in this mess ahead of us.
Yeah, I saw Brown and Allgaier right there get into each other, getting into 3. I thought that was our caution right there.
And there's the coach, Joe Gibbs. How proud must he be?
Yeah.
Trying to win for a second week in a row.
1, 2,
with
3.
a second different driver.
Dominated the race last night. Oh, coach has got his program running pretty good.
Huge gap. Again.
All you want to do is get back to that white flag so you know you don't have to deal with a restart. And the white flag is waving now for Brandon Jones. 1 lap to go, brought to you by Credit One Bank.
Bring it home, baby.
That's all he wanted to see. You get that white and the caution comes out. Who cares? You won the race.
You lived that a couple of weeks ago.
Yep, exactly. So it's a great sign to see that. He's got a huge lead, cruise control
right
from
there,
here.
coming to the checker.
This isn't
Great
just
job today,
winning.
man.
This is beating Kyle Busch at Phoenix. So impressive for Brandon Jones, who takes care of business in the final stage and wins.
Great job. How about that for those guys? And Harrison Burton. First last week, second this week. 1, 2, 3 for Gibbs.
Thanks for your help.
Awesome race. Gibbs saw it all today, didn't we?
Yeah, we did see it all. And who would have guessed this? Top 2 finishers against the 3rd and 4th place guys. They were Cup guys.
Sure, that's all I got to say.
6th time that Joe Gibbs Racing has finished 1, 2, 3.
Lug nut station. Looks like he's clear.
You know, the last few years in the Xfinity Series, and you talked about Gibbs, you said they were championship favorites because you had guys like Suarez and Jones and Bell, and everyone said, who's going to step up this year?
Yeah.
Well, I think we're answering those
Look
questions.
at these kids.
Harrison Burton, Brandon Jones, Riley Herbst. You see what they accomplished here today with a veteran Kyle Busch.
You know, but I said before the race, you know, who's going to leave here with confidence, who's not? And I still don't believe it's just a dominant Gibbs, you know, going to win the championship. Allgaier, his performance was super impressive. Obviously got on the bad end of this, strategy game. But I still think he's a car capable of coming back and taking the championship away from these dominant Gibbs cars.
I don't know, man. I just don't like watching cars do burnouts, man. Burnouts are so cool.
Oh, I know it. So much fun to be able to do that. And guess what? Only one guy is able to do that.
And it's a monumental win for Brandon Jones. Number 500 for Toyota in the top 3 series of NASCAR. That's something he'll like having on his resume.
For sure. This kid is going to be pumped. Watch this. And he should be. Heck, I'm pumped for him, right? Get him on the feet, kid.
Almost looked like he was going to stand on the door and said, wait, I'm not sure that's a good idea.
There's a lot of banking there. I can see that being a bit of an issue.
Oh. Ooh. And that's Dylan Bassett. Whoop. And some team members not agreeing with that's his brother Ronnie. You know, Ronnie's going to drive some, and I'm not sure what happened, but some enormous
energy.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are very displeased, and NASCAR officials getting involved in sending them in the opposite direction. Wow.
Glad I've never been a part of that, Joey. How about you?
Me too. So immature.
That's a great way to go to break right there. There's a look at Providence's Lawan Pipkins warming up for DePaul and Providence. The game is next on FS1. Providence has won their last 5 games, and Pipkins averaging over 20 points a game. It's straight ahead on FS1. For now, we're going to Victory Lane in Phoenix. Here's Jamie Little.
The confetti and Gatorade going everywhere. Brandon, this isn't just any win. I know it's your second career, but this is the 500th win for Toyota on the National Series of NASCAR. How big is this win, especially for you knowing that you had to pass Kyle Busch to do it?
Yeah, about that, I cannot believe he left the ball open, and we were so strong on that top lane. Toyota is the manufacturer to be with. I love these guys so much. It's like a family working with them. Coach Gibbs is great. Life's good. We got Turtle Wax. Menards is so big for us. They race, they sponsor us so much there. So we work hard, and we're going to get big results this year because of it.
Congratulations. Guys kept digging, and you see the celebration here, Vince.
Well, the final box score will say Justin Allgaier finished 13th today, but that doesn't begin to tell the story. You guys made your bed and you had to lie in it there at the end. In hindsight, do you wish you'd have come for the tires, or are you okay with the decision?
No, I'm good with the decision. You know, obviously it didn't work out, and to say that I'm not disappointed would be lying to you. You know, obviously we had a fast brand professional agriculture Camaro today. Just, you know, I thought we made the right call. I even told Jason on the radio multiple times that I still felt like it was the right call. I've been beat way too many times by that particular instance, and knowing how many laps were left and knowing how good our car was, the cautions didn't fall the way we needed them to. The definition of luck I talk about all the time is when opportunity meets preparation, and we were prepared. We just didn't get the opportunity. So I hate it for the 7 guys. I hate it for everybody at Junior Motorsports. They built a really, really fast race car, and we don't have a victory to show for it. But thanks to Xfinity for all they do for the sport, this whole team. My daughter Harper at home, I know she's watching, so hi Harper. I'll be home soon. And just a tough day at the office.
Adam.
He's disappointed, maybe a little frustrated, but not near as frustrated as Dylan Bassett. This is what happened on track with Bassett in the 90 and the 68 of Brandon Brown.
And you said it, Clint, just racing.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're not frustrated about it or mad.
And
just
I can give a little bit of credit to both of those guys. He was holding him down. He drove it off in there.
I mean, look how quick he finds him on the pit lane.
Yeah, I've definitely done that, but I've never. He held on to that grudge a long time. That was, what was that, 100 laps ago? I can't keep that much anger held for that long.
Your attention span doesn't last that long.
I think that's what it is. Little emotion at the end of the race, huh? Come on.
Well,
Love it.
When your brother's working on the crew and you think he was done wrong, you're going to participate in the post-race activity. Brandon Jones wins. Final thoughts from the two of you.
Yeah, I think, Justin Allgaier, what a class act. Obviously the things didn't play out the way he wanted it to. He was the car to beat today. I think he had the best car. He just didn't have the tires or the opportunity. So great job by them. Professional interview. Unfortunately, not the finish they wanted.
Saw a great race. Beautiful day. Beautiful racetrack. Very, very demanding racetrack. Saw a lot of people slipping and sliding around. A lot of people jumping that cushion. We cannot do that. You said these composite bodies save these guys in this series, in the Xfinity series. On the Cup side, that's an end of your day for sure. But Brandon Jones passing Kyle Busch, of all people, to take the win. Huge day for him, his team. Allgaier, their strategy didn't pay out, but man, I'm satisfied. Happy camper here.
Great job. Good luck tomorrow to both of you. We'll see you for NASCAR on Fox. Our coverage begins at 2:30 Eastern Time live on FS1. It was a great day in the desert, and at the end of it, it's Brandon Jones holding the trophy. Thanks for being with us. It's time for college basketball. Enjoy the Big East action, DePaul and Providence.